Hi, here with junior Mary Louise Dixon. After 82-69 win over Adelphi, season high for points, career high for rebounds, almost a triple-double. Just talk about the game. It was really tight, and you guys were able to kind of get some breathing room at the end and pull away.
Yep, we started off a little shaky, but we knew they were going to come at us. We decided to stop number 3 in transition a little earlier because she was making that team go. So we made that change, and we also decided to rebound in the second half. I think we held them to only a couple offensive rebounds, so that was our goal too.
Talk about obviously the matchup with Jackson for them, a very talented point guard. What's it like, kind of seeing from our perspective, anyways, maybe the fans, you going against someone that your opponents see every night? What's that kind of like?
Yeah, it's awesome. Jackson's an amazing point guard, and thank God I don't have to guard her. Coach makes Jamie guard the tough one, so I get a little breathing room on the defensive end, but Jamie did a great job on her defensively.
Obviously, you mentioned the rebounds, 3 of you guys with double-doubles. Just talk about the effort there. They have some tall players inside, and you guys were able to dominate the glass when it counted.
Yeah, in the last couple games we've been out-rebounded, and that's affected the outcome of the game. Like AIC, we got out-rebounded, I think, and that's always been a huge focus for us, and we did a really good job boxing out, especially number 11, who usually gets second chance points.
Sorry, you guys obviously here heading into this last month of the year, had the tough loss last week, but here, building momentum again here heading into the last month of the year. Just talk about what you guys' focus is here heading down the stretch.
Yeah, our biggest goal is definitely to finish strong. I know lots of teams hit a wall at this point when they don't prepare early in preseason. They don't prepare hard enough, and people break down, their bodies break down, people get injured. But right now, knock on wood, we're staying healthy, and that's been an advantage to us. We keep running on teams in the second half when they get tired.
I thought a big factor today, especially first half, it was more Asia, kind of the leadership picked up and really carried you guys to that first half, and then yourself in the second. Just talk about the 2 of you guys, how you guys have really stepped up as leaders here, and we kind of talked about it before, but I thought it really showed out there today in a tight game.
Yeah, it's kind of a tandem. I always talk about how when I'm struggling, Asia always has my back, and when she's struggling, I have hers. So she definitely picked us up in the first half, and I promised myself I'd do the same in the second.
Pace on Saturday, usually, and again, another tough team on the road. Just looking forward to a couple of road games here. What do you expect?
We just got to stay prepared, prepare ourselves like it's a home game, and it's a long bus ride, so make sure we're hydrating and stay healthy for when Saturday comes.
All right, well, congratulations on the win, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, here with head coach Trisha Brown after a big 82-69 win over Adelphi. Very tight early on, and I thought it was your 2 juniors that really stepped up and really showed the way tonight for you guys.
No question, no question. We started slow as far as offensively, and Adelphi came right at us, and we went down early, and it was a battle in the first half. But you're absolutely right; those our 2 junior captains. Just that's what we've been looking for, that leadership, that poise, and that's been a big difference this year. They've brought that, and tonight they certainly brought it with their intensity as well defensively, and I thought decision-making on the offensive end was fantastic from both of those kids.
The last couple of years, we kind of just talked about, this. It's hard at the time, the experience these kids are getting, the sophomores, I include in that mix.
Right.
But now you're really seeing the benefit of that playing time early on for them pay off, and tonight was a prime example of that.
Absolutely, absolutely, and just us being a year older and that poise and the patience, and ML's decision making this year is just a huge reason for our success. And I know you're probably going to talk about our rebounding effort tonight. We had 3 kids with double-doubles, which was amazing, but Asia just put it all together tonight. She was one of our high rebounders. But then you talk about ML, who was our point guard at, not a huge 5'7", maybe. I'll give her 7. She's not 5'7". But for her to have 13 rebounds, she was our high rebounder. That's just effort. That's making a big play, which is getting a rebound when we needed it tonight. And she really came up with some big rebounds.
Talk about ML a little bit more, but more so with Jackson going against, and obviously 2 of the better point guards in the league, if not
Right.
the 2 best. And
right.
What's it like having, you have ML on your team and have to kind of go against that? And, I've asked ML that question, and it's kind of an interesting dynamic tonight, I thought.
Absolutely, and we knew she was going to come right at us, and she started the game certainly on doing just that. And I think about their point guard being so talented, I think Jamie Panton did a really nice job tonight, and in a very hard matchup. She is hard to guard and she's hard to slow down. So I think Jamie started it and did a great job defensively on her, but it really was, I think, team defense that got it done for us tonight. Just being able to limit their transition looks, which I think we did, and it really was about team defense slowing her down. So.
Obviously, the rebounding effort, you mentioned 3 double-doubles. ML kind of talked about, you guys have been talking about getting out rebounded lately, and how huge was that tonight for you guys against a pretty tall team inside?
Yeah, and I think it sends such a good message to our kids about, let's get better every game. We don't settle for where we are. If we're going to compete down the stretch and against the better teams in this league, which you're going to face in and out, but you've got to keep getting better during a season, and that's what we talked about this year being different. You hit the middle of January, it's a long season, the kids start to fatigue. What are we doing to make ourselves better and different, especially than last year? And I think rebounding, we've struggled, controlling the boards, and I think we've had 2 decent outings. Tonight was a really good outing for us in that respect. So that's just something we can build on and say, hey, now we're making the next step with our rebounding. So that's what we need to do.
The season really does break into thirds here. The first third where you play in your division and some non-conference games. You had this January with the crossover games. You finish that up on Saturday on the road, and obviously the calendar turns to February, believe it or not, before that then. But what has this first 2/3 of the season taught you about the team, and and you got to kind of have to carry on here with only a month to go really in the regular season?
Right. I think the same things I've talked about as far as the work that this team put in the off season to prepare has made us, we started the season so much stronger. Just our conditioning, and I think our conditioning tonight plays a factor. You got to outlast, and you got to be able to be a team that doesn't wear down at this time during the season. I think our team put great effort into coming in better condition, and that's helped us a lot. I think our start early and our schedule early helped us a lot, being home the way we were, and those early wins gave us the confidence that we needed as still a young team. And I think now those kids, our kids have the confidence, with these wins, some tough wins on the road, taking control at home. So I think confidence is going to be a huge factor for us as we finish, and go back to our division. Other than that, I think it's, again, just reinforcing, don't settle. Keep getting better right now.
Saturday, go to Pace, finish this crossover portion of the schedule. Again, another tough team perennially, and certainly expect that on Saturday on the road.
They're a fantastic team, and their record this year, is probably different than what they've experienced, but they have one of the most talented post players in the league, in Brittany Shields, and I know she's playing her last season through a lot of pain, but I mean, there's another kid that can just score, and they're very well coached. They play well at home, so it'll definitely be a battle. I like the preparation of our team as we go on the road this year. There's been a lot of good changes there, where I feel like our team is way more prepared when we get on the bus and get off the bus. That I feel confidence in how we'll be ready to play the game on Saturday.
All right, Coach. Well, congratulations on the win, and good luck the next couple of games.
Thanks.